This is lesson 6.5, the coordinate plane from chapter 6. A coordinate plane, what is it? It is formed by the intersection, that means crossing. It's caused by the intersection of the horizontal number line, which is the blue on the screen, and by the vertical number line. So basically you're taking two number lines and you're making sure that they intersect or they cross at that point, which is 0. This makes the coordinate plane. This is what we call as the coordinate plane. Now, so far you have been dealing with the first part of the coordinate plane, or the first quadrant as we call it, because if you see, this is being divided into 4 parts because of the intersection of these. So this is part 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we call this quadrant 1. This is the Roman numeral, or you can just say 1 if you can remember that, but just so you know, that's the norm. This is quadrant 2, so we go anti-clockwise. This is quadrant 2, or the second quadrant. This is quadrant 3, and this is the last quadrant, quadrant 4. Now, we all know that an ordered pair consists of x and y, and x is always the first number and y is the second number. Now here, if you look, this horizontal axis is the x-axis and the vertical is the y-axis. If you look, the horizontal, this is quadrant 1. How are the numbers in quadrant 1? The x is positive and the y going up and down here, is also positive. So both x and y are positive there. In second quadrant, if you look, the x, which is this, is a negative number, and the y, which is going up, is a positive number. So that's how the x and y are in second quadrant. In the third quadrant, again, the x that is going that way is a negative number, and the y also, because it's going down, also given by a negative number. So that's how the x and y are, both negative numbers. In the fourth quadrant, again, remember, we always say the x first, so the x in this case, if you see, is a positive number, but the y, it's going down, it is a negative number. Just remember this, and then it's easy for you to figure out which one is positive, whether the x is positive or negative and the y is positive or negative in that particular quadrant. Okay, let's take a look. Again, we talked about this. The number lines intersect as 0, at 0, this point, which we always also call as the origin, and they separate this coordinate plane into 4 regions, and we call them quadrants. Remember, quad means 4, so there are 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we call them that. All right, how do we write an ordered pair? We already know, because so far you have always been doing this part of the graph, quadrant 1. This is what we've been using always. We just sort of ignored the rest because we did not have negative values. And the way we did the ordered pairs there was to write x comma y and then put them in parentheses. Remember that? Okay, so an ordered pair is used to locate a point on the coordinate plane. That's all it is, on a coordinate plane. It's given by x comma y, both in parentheses. Make sure that this is the norm that you follow. The first number is x, always. There is no exception to the rule. And the second number is y, always. Again, no exception to the rule. And we also mentioned this before in class. Remember that in the alphabet, the x comes before y, and that's how you can remember which one goes first. Okay. Let's go ahead and do some of these ordered pairs, or identify them. Now, this homework is going to look a little bit different than the previous ones. In the previous ones, you had a sheet where I did all the work, and then you had your own that you had to try. In this, both are going to be sort of put together. for example, I'll do the first 5 points in this. I'll identify them, what the ordered pair is, and then you will fill in the other 5 points. So let's go ahead and do it. Point A, where is point A? Right here. Now, I know that the first one that I always write is X followed by the Y. So I'm going to look at how many did I go on the X. I went 2 steps on the X, which is 2, and then I went up 3 steps. So the X is 2 and the Y is 3 for point A. Let's take a look at point B. Point B is way down here. This is point B. Now, I did not go any on the x-axis, but I went down on the y-axis up to -4. So the x in this case was 0 because I didn't move any on the x. I just moved on the y, and I went 4 steps down, which is given by -4. Point C is right here. To go to the point C, I go on the x-axis 1. Again, this is a positive one, so I moved right 1 unit and I went down 3 units. So I moved, again, x and y. I moved right 1 unit, so that's the x, and I went down 3, so that's a -3 because I went down. So that's 1, -3, that's the new point. Let's go ahead and look at how point D is done. Point D, where is it? Oh, right here. So in order to go to point D, I have to take 4 steps on x-axis. I have to go to the right 4, and I have to go up 1. So in x and y, I went 4 steps on the x, and I went 1 step up, and that's the point D. So now you get the how to do it. Go ahead and finish 5 through 10. Let's move on. Now the next part is where we are going to plot the ordered pairs. First we have to not only plot the pairs, but also we have to give the location. That means you also have to say what quadrant it belongs to. Again, remember, this is quadrant 1, this is 2, we go anti-clockwise. This is quadrant 3, I'm going to place it so that it's not in the middle, and this is quadrant 4. Alright, let's go ahead and do it. K, point K is at 5, 2. So I'm going on the x-axis 5, and then I go up 2, and that's K. Remember, you plot the point, you label the point, and then you also write the coordinate of the point, 5, 2. L is -3, 6. So go ahead, and this is quadrant 1. Maybe that's what you want to say, quadrant 1. And then L is at -3, 6. Again, let's take a look. -3, x. So I'm going 3 steps to the left, and then I'm going 6 steps up, which makes it right here. That's L. This is quadrant 2. That's a -3, 6. So this is quadrant 2. I'm going to go ahead and do number 16. 0, 3. On x, did I move any? No, I'm right here at x, but I moved, which is 0, so I didn't move from the origin, but I moved up 3, so I went right here. And so this is at S, and you can say that what axis is it in? It's on neither x, it's not in any quadrant, it's just on the y-axis. So you can say that the location is y-axis because that's where it falls on. Okay, let's move on to the next part, and in this we are going to go ahead and graph some of these points that are given, and make sure that you do the graphing right, because this is going to be also tested. So alright, let's go ahead and do this. It says a blizzard hits a town at noon. The table shows the hourly temperatures from noon to 6 p.m. and we have to display the data in a line graph. Remember that, line graph. Alright, as we know, the first one is always the x, and the second one is always the y, or as in science you've learned, this is the manipulated variable, the x, and the y is the responding variable. Let's go ahead. So 0, 6, that's the ordered pair. That's one ordered pair. The second ordered pair is 1, 7, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and do it. 0, 6. So I'm at 0, but then I moved up 6. That's my first one. My second ordered pair is 1, 7. So I'm at 1. I go up 7. That's 7. And then 2. And then 5. Now, since they said or they asked us to make a line graph, I'm just going to go ahead and connect these 3 points, and in the order that we see them, that's given, that's the order. And I want you to finish plotting the rest of the 4 points and connect the line and finish the line graph. Also, you need to make 2 observations for the graph. Go ahead, finish up with the lesson, and I'll see you next class.